executions have proceeded as you ordered," says Chief of the Interior, Marshal Heinrici, as he kneels directly before the Master in his golden throne room. "The Ministry of the Interior has completed 20,000 executions by hanging across the Army, Navy, and Marine Corps. Incompetence will never be tolerated in your holy realm, my liege. In addition, re-education schools and worker placement factoriums are now manned to 70% desired levels in occupied regions of all the great houses in Sphere domains. I anticipate..." The Master interrupts Marshal Heinrici with a swift kick directly to his face. He falls back, wailing in anguish.
"The Commissariat for Internal Affairs will be taking your portfolio, Marshal. Your services are no longer required. It is as you said. Incompetence will never..."
The Master turns brusquely, his cape billowing as he spins on his boot. He walks toward his throne and sits slowly, the Marshal still screaming as royal guards drag him from the throne room. "Master, please, no! I have only ever been loyal, I beg you!" His cries fade away as the huge golden doors close with a boom that echoes throughout the throne room.
"I am ready to see the Chief Commissar now. Send him."
A lean, unassuming figure enters through the doors, and they are shut behind him by flanking royal guards. He walks deliberately up to the steps leading to the Master's throne and kneels before him, removing his tall, short-brimmed commissar's cap and holding it at his side. "My Master, the Grand Commissariat for Internal Affairs is ready to do your bidding."
"Good. Good. Chief Commissar Legret, you will not disappoint me."
The Master stands and takes a few steps down to meet the Chief Commissar at his level, and flicks his wrist up to bid him stand. He does so, and they meet at eye level.
"You will begin by taking administrative control of the entire military. Operational orders will still be issued from my general staff, but you will see to it that all underperforming, cowardly, incompetent, or otherwise useless command elements within the League be purged swiftly and without mercy. I leave it to the Grand Commissariat's discretion whether summary execution is appropriate or placement in worker factory. Staff, since October, have been noted for the record. You have my direct authority to purge it as well. My Grand Administratum has names of those who you shall relieve of their duties. I expect a list of named replacements, vetted by the Commissariat, to be forwarded to the Grand Administratum within a fortnight. Public executions broadcast throughout the occupied realm.
Marshal Heinrici may yet be of some use to us. He pauses, waiting for permission to continue. The Master says nothing, implying his permission. The apparatus of his portfolio remains quite large, as the Ministry of the Interior's extensive personnel files and staff would be particularly useful to our Commissariat of Interior Security, especially in regards to collection against future potential malcontents, saboteurs, and traitors. The continuity of his presence would ease the transition of his purview under the Grand Commissariat, and may buy the administrative acquisition legitimacy for increased efficiency within the absorbed bureaucracy. Of course, when the transition is complete, he will be liquidated. The Master considers for a moment.
Very well, Chief Commissar. Now begin your work. You have much...
Chief Commissar Legret bows and turns to take his leave.
The additions we've made to the strike group, particularly in the form of the resilience, have brought us the teeth we need, and now it's time to bite. LRDF Command has given us a high priority objective, and we'll see it through, like we always do. Remember, the word of Blake remains formidable, and clearly has been willing to use atomics in support of military operations. The cat is out of the bag, and our side doesn't have those kinds of claws. Our fight is far from over, but we're no longer in survival mode. Take the fight to the enemy, and make the Master wish he never let us slip through his fingers at Ionis. The mission you're about to be briefed on is pivotal to LRDF High Command, and must be accomplished before Intel assesses that the Blakist offensive to the south will begin. Over to Ops and Intel to brief. Then I expect your recommendations. Thank you, Admiral. Alright, time to get back to work. Welcome to Operation BARBARY Strike, which targets a Word of Blake FTL lane entry and logistics deep space station on the edge of the Ganas system. This FTL relay beacon and support station at the juncture of Gambler's Reach waypoint is critical to FTL travel between the eastern and southern regions of FWL space, as it sits at the edge of the best charted route south. If we can deny its use to the enemy, we could seriously degrade the Blakist's ability to move operational frontline and reserve forces to the point of contact for their planned offensive. The mission is to capture the station intact for use in support of the LRDF's planned summer counteroffensive. The General Staff wants to force Comstar into having to focus its offensive in the center by denying the flanks as feasible attack vectors. This will set up a large, operational encirclement of enemy forces when we launch our own offensive in the east and west, to ensnare the enemy at the culmination point of its offensive. In support of the primary objective of capturing the station, HQ has temporarily assigned to us the Marine Transport Ship, FWS Oath of Honor. We've got to ensure that the Honor can deploy our Marines via drop pod insertion into 3 pre-assigned boarding locations. You'll have to defend Honor while she traverses to each waypoint and deploys her Marines. Over to N2 for more. Thank you, Ops. The enemy space station is heavily armed and armored, bristling with point defense weapons and a dedicated aerospace fighter wing. During the next 14 days, the Blakist Carrier Strike Group, CSG-12, is docked there undergoing fusion reactor refueling and escort resupply in anticipation of transfer to the southern sector. We assess this movement is to support a large-scale naval and ground offensive against the recently formed League Remnant Defense Force under Vice Admiral Guerra. As a result, ships actively getting service cannot launch upon a warning, and will take some time to respond to any potential incursion that targets the space station. Of course, the station's organic point defense weapons and aerospace fighter wing will be able to react immediately to our arrival, and will concentrate heavy firepower at Oath of Honor and our aerospace forces. However, if there are any significant delays in getting Honor's Marines on board, CSG-12 likely will be able to conduct an emergency launch and will contest us for control of the airspace. CSG-12 consists of the fleet carrier CSS Eviscerator, the battle cruiser CSS Freedom's End, the cruiser CSS Retributor, and the destroyer CSS Follow. Eviscerator and Retributor both have embedded aerospace wings, so anticipate a real fight if they launch. If we can do our part to ensure that the Marines get the job done efficiently, we'll have a lot of POWs to return to HQ, and 4 enemy ships as booty. But this won't be easy, as we anticipate that enemy naval leadership will order the scuttling of the ships if they have the chance to do so. Break through the defenses as quickly as you can, and stay frosty. If CSG-12 launches, it will prove an immediate and dire threat to Oath of Honor and CSG-68. Back to the Admiral for closing comments. You heard the men. Get this done. Prepare the way for a right hook, and protect our Marines. Godspeed.